Alright, I'm doing this video for my senior project. For my product, I'm making papier-mâché fish out of papier-mâché. My project was on game conservation, and I chose to do fish because it's a prominent thing in our area. Everyone likes fish. So I had a hard time with something to do a product on. So I chose to just make a model out of one of the fish I'd wrote about and researched. It's a largemouth bass. So preparation for this took a good couple hours. I have a mixture here of, well, it's kind of like paste, liquid paste. It was flour, water, took some boiling, so that took a good while, and then you gotta let it cool down. But I went and got glue to make another batch in case I needed one, so I didn't have to do all that cooking again. I have lots of newspapers I gotta cut up into strips, so that's gonna take another while. And my fish, I don't have a base because, well, I just didn't want to go out and buy a model to form the papier-mâché around. So I'm going to cut out cardboard strips and just put it in the form of a fish, I guess. So, see how it works out. Here's my cardboard cut out of this big box here. So now I've got to, I think I'm going to cut a strip and another one and put them back to back, and maybe a top one to make sort of a box, and I'll form the papier-mâché to make the fins and the face. Alright, here are the strips I'd cut for the base, and now I'm going to try to stick them together. So I'm going to tear some of this newspaper into strips. I was told it doesn't really matter how big the strips are because, well, they're going to get torn up anyways. And I don't want them real big right now because I'm just putting it around these. So I kind of want it to end up like this. I need to cut a little bit out. I'm going to stir my paste to make sure nothing's settled and it's all well mixed. And this is going to get messy. So I have this to do it on. Just to note, this is my first time ever doing papier-mâché, so it is very much a learning experience. Maybe next time I won't be so clumsy. Okay, you know what? Scratch that. We're going to just use this. And we'll fill it up, and then we'll put the other side in. This really stinks. You know, they all said when we were little we ate glue. I don't know how we did that. It really stinks. And there's my second layer. Alright, so I have my base started. Okay, so base made. I need to round it out because fish isn't flat. So I thought I'd take the newspaper and kind of fold it because I have big long strips here and try to make it round. And then later, I think I'll go back with sandpaper and force it to be round. It doesn't turn out right. Just wad these up here. Okay, so I have that. Now, I'm going to layer over it to make sure it stays like that. And see, it is turning out a little bit round. I'm very glad I put this thing down. I would have a big mess. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little background on largemouth bass. They're like the sharks of a pond, unless they have freshwater sharks in there, but they're omnivores, which is weird. You don't expect that from a fish its size, because it doesn't get huge like a catfish. Catfish are also omnivores. But a largemouth bass would typically eat anything smaller than it. It would eat crawfish, grasshoppers, worms, obviously, and it'll even eat its young if it hasn't fed in a while. But it'll eat grass and stuff, you know, maintain a healthy diet, I guess. But during a normal lifetime, a female would, when she gets old enough, I guess that is almost a year, she will find a mate and they go and make a nest, because bass are nest builders. They like wooded areas because they want places to hide, and the male largemouth bass would stay at the nest while the female goes away, and he'll protect the eggs. And after they hatch, he's gone, so he's not tempted to eat them. It's kind of like snakes and turtles, you know, they have to defend for themselves at a very young age. They are a sport fish in Louisiana, basically all over the United States, because their mouth is so big, they're typically harder to catch, and to get a real big one, well, they have prizes and money given away for that. So I did my project on them because I knew nothing about them. I just thought they were, you know, a prize fish. But it turns out that they're affected by different kinds of water and different plants and animals that aren't from around here that are brought here. Like Chinese water tallow, they overrun the pond and it kills the oxygen in it, and the bass have nowhere to go, so they die off. Different insects, like fire ants, because fire ants from around here, they're from South America, they just came over on a ship. They're harmful because they take away food sources in the long run, not right there, but everything has an effect, or cause an effect on other things. So here's what I have so far on my fish. Yeah, I had to use glue. Here's his mouth, because he is a largemouth bass. And this will be his tail. I'm going to use toothpicks to pop it out, and I'll stick more toothpicks up here and make a fin. And also right here I'll make another fin. And right here. But that's what I have so far. He's going to be one-sided. I'm afraid this is going to take a long, long time to dry. It's going to take more than 20 hours. Oh well, the requirement is 20 hours. If I exceed it, I guess it doesn't matter. Alright. Okay, I know it seems little and stuff, but would you believe that took me like 5 hours? It really did. I had to restart so many times. But here's his mouth, and here's his top fin and his bottom fin, and what will be his tail. So I still got much more work. I gotta let him dry, and I gotta paint him and sand him and repaint him, and this is just a lot of trouble. Now that the papier-mâché is dry, I mixed this green and this black to make a dark green to match the fish, and I mixed red and black to make a real dark brown, and I'll use plain black to make the spots that go on a line. After it dried, it ended up falling, so it's not round anymore, but his mouth is still open. And this is it done. Can't really see, but there's spots right there in the dark brown. His gill, and I painted his mouth red. I'm gonna have to cut some fins into it, but he's about done.